Okay, hey, welcome everybody to a slightly delayed Saturday Night Greyhawk session this week. I am DM Galabond. I am joined in the Discord and on the Roll20 by most of our players. We actually have a new player joining us tonight, so I'm going to have to update the slate a little bit later. And probably after the session. And we are going to be getting started momentarily. We are still putting the final touches on our new player's character. As we do that, I am going to go ahead and recap for everybody what happened last time on Saturday Night Greyhawk. The party had traveled from, or the party had met in Hamlet with the village council and with Rufus and Byrne and a couple of other assorted folks, and had learned a little bit more about the current state of affairs and the history about the operations of the cult. Moreover, they saw some maps that gave them some relative layout of the local area, distances between Hamlet and the village of Nulb, also showed the relative locations of the Moat House and sort of this nebulous area out in the woods where they think that the ruins of the old Temple of Elemental Evil are. And that temple was built on the ruins of an older keep that had a chapel in it. That chapel had been desecrated and turned into a temple for elemental evil. And then they also learned that when a previous generation of adventurers had been out there, they discovered that there was a vast underground complex, but they never went down there. They just sealed up everything on the surface, and they said, yeah, okay, that'll be good. And they locked everything up and put words and seals on it, and then they went away, feeling very happy with themselves. But now, of course, Lareth has been poking around, and there's people that are having this old cult symbol, so maybe they didn't do as good a job as they should have in clearing that out. And, well, what do you know? Our intrepid band of adventurers might have to do that. But they had come to the Moat House along with 3 stonemasons and a number of guards from the town militia of Hamlet. And these guards are going to sort of take over watching the Moat House while the party travels to Nulb. And then when the party gets ready to go to the ruins of the Moat House, they want to take their Knoll allies with them because they know the fighting capabilities of those guys. And Rufus has kind of scared the party into thinking that the village militia from Hamlet are nothing but a bunch of rank amateurs who may or may not be capable of defending themselves in a fight. But what we did not know last time when we got to the Moat House, we did not know that there was actually an additional person that came along with the party in addition to the town guards and in addition to the stonemasons. And that person was, in fact, another human. And Marcel, have you had a chance to give your new character a name yet, or pick out a name that you want for it yet? Okay. What is the name of this person that still has unidentified armor and weapons and other sundry equipment?
Well, I'm Arcturus Roderick.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Oh, do we have Arcturus Roderick. Excellent. Wonderful. Arcturus Roderick. So, Arcturus, there's something about Arcturus that Nico would recognize. Arcturus is a human, but Arcturus has a very familiar looking holy symbol that he is wearing. In fact, Nico, it's a holy symbol of Clangadden, the dwarven god of battle.
Oh, my heart just like went thump thump because I love my brothers with Clangadden.
Understandable, as do I.
So let me double check. I want to take a look at your. Okay, so we're all right. We've got chainmail and a two-handed sword. Excellent. All right. All right. So I'll let you continue working on your.
My money's done.
Oh,
I've spent it.
yeah. Okay. You bought a weapon and some armor, and you spent all your money. Yep. Okay. Well, hey, Paladins are supposed to travel cheap anyway.
I will get more time with time.
Yes. There's. Let me see. What I will let you put into your character sheet for without having to pay for it. I'll let you. Symbol. Yeah, I would imagine that when you were ordained as a paladin, you would have been given a holy symbol. So you better have a holy symbol. It's not made of gold or silver or anything. It's kind of probably a good iron holy symbol that was actually made from the weapon of a vanquished enemy, and that the Church of Clangadden had defeated. Nico, does that sound about right to you?
That and probably your battle axe, or if you don't, he should be given a battle axe just because that's the holy weapon of Clangadden, just to have, even if you're not proficient with it. But I would totally start. I'm going to totally be. Nico is totally going to be all excited because he's the first dwarven paladin, although he's not really a paladin, but he thinks so. So he's going to be helping hook you up as soon as he gets some money.
Okay. Then I think
once we start selling more stuff, Nico will totally dedicate a bunch of that resources that's his share towards his new paladin at arms.
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't even wear pants.
yeah. You have a normal set of clothing, so you've got some breeches.
Good to know.
Yeah, you got some breeches and shoes. If you don't have any fancy boots or anything like that, you've got stuff on your feet. Go ahead and add a backpack. Add a couple of small sacks.
I'll give him my last potion of healing.
Okay. And then I'm thinking add some rations. And we'll call it good. Because then paladins, they they have nice weapons and nice armor, but other than that, they're supposed to kind of be
not keeping much gold for themselves.
Not keeping much gold and not living extravagantly. So, take 1 week's worth of standard rations. So I'll call it that. Yeah. 1 week's worth of standard rations.
And I gave you my last potion of healing. It's in the Roll20 chat for stats.
Okay.
Good to know. Thanks.
Yeah. All right. So Arcturus has some chainmail. He's got a nice two-handed sword and a scabbard on his back. At his belt, he has clearly a ceremonial battle axe. Actually, it's kind of a small ceremonial battle axe. Something that would be used if you're doing like some sort of battlefield rituals or something like that, or if you're doing something at a shrine of Clangadden. It's anybody who looks at it is like, yeah, that's clearly not a weapon, but it's made to look in the style of Clangadden's battle axe. In fact, do you think maybe, Nico, that there's such a thing as a holy symbol of Clangadden that looks like a battle axe?
I'm pretty sure that there's a holy symbol that looks like a battle axe that could either be hand-sized or like on an amulet.
Yeah, okay. We'll say that it doubles as your holy symbol. It's a holy symbol of Clangadden that looks like a battle axe. That's how we'll explain it. So you don't have to add a separate battle axe to your inventory. Your cleric is going to want to insist as soon as you get money that you buy one, but that's something for him and you to work out.
We have spare battle axes in the gear in the castle.
Yeah. Speaking of the gear in the castle, you brought along 3 stonemasons last week, or as we were finishing up our session last time. And these stonemasons were going to start looking around while you were talking with the gnolls and while the guards were sort of getting squared away and set up and everything to figure out what their duties here are going to be.
The Masons were not going to go off by themselves without a contingent of guards.
Right. And they are not planning to leave the grounds. They will do a walk around the outer perimeter, but before they do that, they're going to walk around the inner perimeter. And so we'll send a few guards with them, and they're going to walk first of all over here to this far side, and they're going to look at this place where the entire wall collapsed, and they're going to go, yep, all right, okay, yep, that's going to need some work. And they start scribbling down some figures on some parchment. And then, they take out some twine that has knots on it at regular intervals, and they start stretching those out and measuring things. And then they climb up onto some of this rubble, and they look at the walls, and they call back to you guys, and they say, well, good thing is you got nice, sturdy, thick walls here, so that's good. The walls that are intact, they're not going anywhere. We rebuild this, and you're going to have a very strong outer shell of this Moat House. What we've got to do is we've got to look and see what caused this collapse, whether it was damage from some kind of battle or siege weapon, whether there's something, in the ground that it sits on, that some way it was settling that caused that to happen, whether we have to do any kind of reinforcement of the substructure or something like that. So then after they look up there, they wander down here. And you're glad you went in there before they did, because at one point in time there was a great big spider in there. And of course there's nothing in there now. And they look around, okay. And they consult with each other, and then they will eventually come back out over here, and they'll call out to you and say, yeah, we're probably going to have to rebuild most of the outer shell of this tower. The walls here aren't quite as thick, and there are some cracks that are running through several places. It definitely looks like this thing got hit by some big big stones that were hurled by a catapult or something like that. It looks like what caused this. So we have to go back down to almost the ground level and rebuild the walls here. So that's going to take a bit of doing. Then they go over here to the front gates, and they're like, okay, we're going to repair a little bit of this, but we're stonemasons. We don't do work with the wood of the gates or the drawbridge, so have to find somebody. I'm sure there's somebody in Hamlet that could do that work for you. We could price that out for you, or if you want to send somebody back to negotiate a price for that, that would be there. And then they come all the way over here to this part of the map, and they say, oh, okay, yeah. And they start looking, and they go, ooh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is where you're going to run into some real expense here. Because you see, what you have here is you have a whole corner that collapsed. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to rebuild not only pieces of both of these walls, but rebuild the entire corner where they come together. Now, the good thing, now it looks like you do have some options here, because the way this ground structure is, there's enough room if you want to. We could build you a small tower. And in fact, as we clear some of this rubble away, we might find that there's actually the foundation of a small tower on this corner. But you'll have to decide whether you want us to put a tower here or just make it as a right angle corner. But it's your structure, so you'll have to make that call. Because you'll notice that in some corners of this castle there are, or some corners of this moat house, there are towers, and in some it is just right angle. Like you've got a large square tower over here, and then round towers at the corners on this other side. Actually, you don't even have a tower you can enter here. This is just kind of like a platform that you could use for mounting a defensive weapon or something, or putting a lookout over there. We could either give you another solid tower here, or we could give you a tower that kind of matches the one on the other side. And then they finally come back down, and they look over here, and they say, yeah, okay, this is not as bad, but we are going to have to rebuild this whole corner. from the architecture here, it looks like we're going to be matching up this corner over here and just making a nice squared corner here. Of course, you do have some room here, so if you would like a rounded tower, we can build that, but that's going to be a little more expensive than rebuilding it the way it was, I think. So we're going to have to probably take the evening and discuss among ourselves and calculate out some man hours and the type of stone we'll need and where it'll have to be quarried, and work up a quote sheet for you. And we'll give that to you in the morning. Good news is, once we get that done, you're going to have a nice solid tower here. And I think you all told us that you're mainly looking at just getting the first floor habitable at this point, and then you'll want to worry about maybe rebuilding the second floor later on. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we're looking at making the first floor habitable, and then also maybe sealing a couple of entries through the basement. And then is any of the rubble from the walls or the second floor reusable to help defray some of the stone cost?
We'll look at it, but usually if it's been damaged or cracked, especially if there was some kind of siege damage, we have to inspect each piece really carefully. Now, the good thing for you in this is that there is an active quarry where we are excavating stone for the keep that we're building for Rufus and Byrne and Hamlet. So we don't have to go find a new quarry or open a new quarry or clear space for a new quarry. We can just grab the stone out of there. So you're going to get a discount on the stone we get from there, because it's basically a source that's already in production. So you did luck out on that. And that's going to save you some. And we're going to do our best to match up the coloration of the stone and the type of stone. I think we are going to be able to find stones that'll match here in that quarry, no problem.
That's marvelous.
It looks pretty much like the same construction is used here as was used in some of the more sturdy buildings, the stone buildings that are in Hamlet. And to be quite honest, when we found this quarry, it was a quarry that had been used in the past, but just had been abandoned for a number of years. And all we had to do is, clean out some overgrown stuff and start hacking stone out of it again. So it wouldn't surprise me if the stone to build this actually came from that quarry in the first place. So we might be in luck that we're actually getting the same stone from the same source as the original. But yeah, once you get that up, you're going to have a nice little space here. And you see, you got a well over here. You've got some rooms. Yeah, you definitely want to bring in some people from Hamlet and clear all this crap out, because if you leave all the stuff that's in there now, you're just going to attract rats and all kinds of vermin. And in fact, I'm surprised there wasn't vermin already living in here.
There was. We had to deal with it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you've already cleared out some vermin that were here. All right.
And the well is safe to put a rope down, but don't go down to the water area on the lower level. There's a giant crayfish we haven't been able to clear out yet.
Oh, okay. But you guys gonna be making us some gumbo then?
if they ever kill it, or we ever kill it, or the Knolls ever kill it. But someday. I told you we have not been able to clear out that one thing yet, but it doesn't leave. It's too big.
Okay. All right. Then that's okay. So now let me double check here. Do we have? Okay, I guess we don't have. We don't have Casca yet tonight. I didn't see a message whether he was going to be able to make it tonight or not. All right, so.
And I let Min know. I think Jason. Not Jason. What's your character's name again? Quinn. I think you were here last time, so we should let Min know that here's the cash, and she had her 103 gold from our sales, and then we put the rest for everybody else with the banker in their individual vaults.
Okay. Yes. I was trying to read Discord and talk at the same time, and that doesn't work. For everybody's benefit, Bob did come on a little bit earlier. I see Marcel mentioned something about it. He is changing cable providers, and of course, they are there now to do that work. And so he will be joining us. He about a half hour before the game started, he thought it might be as much as 90 minutes. So he'll probably be joining us somewhere in an hour and a half before he jumps on. After they, put his new equipment in and get it all set up and running. All right, so we have our stonemasons, and Elazar basically is the one who's been talking to you all. And so they are going to go along with the militia members from the town. They're going to go and set up a little encampment for themselves. They will ask you if you have any preference whether or not they stay inside the walls of the keep or outside the walls of the keep.
It would be safer for you to stay inside the walls of the keep.
Okay. They were kind of thinking, from what you said, that they would set up somewhere over in this area where they're not too terribly far away from the well, especially since they know the well is operable and they can get water from it. They also don't want to be too far away from the entry, because that way, if they have to use the latrine, some of the soldiers are going to go outside, and beyond the moat, they'll dig a little latrine pit, and they'll make some. They'll set up a few. They'll set up like some split rail guides, to make kind of an outline of a path to get from the gate here over to their little latrine pit and back. And so there's all the clatter and noise of all that. So while they are doing that, you guys can be talking. And yes, Min, the half-elf, has been uncharacteristically quiet and seemingly a little bit
Wobbly.
Well, wobbly. I don't want to necessarily say out of sorts, but a little bit
Frazzled, maybe.
not quite herself. So I'm gonna do this.
Does Min have a staff? I know she had like a javelin at one point.
You know what? That's a good question. Let me look.
If not, like, and then just because it might not be perfect, but we should easily be able to see, like, as we're going by some long, straight piece of tree that, like, with a battle axe, I could easily cut and give you a walking stick.
Okay. I apologize. My Roll20 is like uber slow tonight. I'm even getting this messages that says, "Do you wish to wait?" Yes, I wish to wait. So
That's the drug feeling you get from being polymorphed.
I do not see. I see I have a javelin and a sling.
Then if the DM's okay with it on the way here, or even that tree that's outside or one of the trees, just a nice 5 foot straight piece of wood cut and just cut the pieces off the side, and just so it's a good walking staff. It wouldn't make a really great quarterstaff, but it would help stabilize you.
Oh yeah, a walking staff. Yeah, definitely. That would work. And then that might be a thing where Min, if obviously you play the character the way you want to, but it opens a potential that if you decide you want to add a weapon proficiency down the road of a staff, that might be kind of a good way of sort of explaining, oh, this was the first time that she started using, she first started using a staff as a walking stick, and then she started to realize, oh, you can use it for more than that.
A hell of a lot farther with this thing.
Yeah, exactly. So
I can get stuff with it.
Yeah, that might be something where, as time goes on, I think at level 4 she'll pick up another non-weapon proficiency. Level 4 or level 5.
First.
Remember,
yeah.
Dogs have owners. Cats have staff.
Yeah.
Oh,
My goodness. Which reminds me, Heather, did you have a chance? I know since you missed last week, did you have a chance to go back and look and see from sessions 11 and 12 whether you had picked up enough XP to gain a level to level 3?
I have to double check to see if I included the level before, but I think I did, and I'm still a little short of level 3. So
okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, I missed like 2 episodes, so I'm
and wizards are the most expensive class.
Yeah.
They make up for it with a quadratic power curve. So eventually all of that slow leveling turns into massive amounts of power at higher levels, but it takes a long time to get there. So let me see. I'm gonna toggle over here to the information. So yeah, I don't see anything else has changed over here. Okay, and then I'll go back to where she was. Whoops, nope, over here. Go back to there. Okay. Then what I was doing is I was double checking to see. Okay, what did we have here? Yep, that is there, and looks like it's just do this and use that one and then save that one. Okay. All right. So now the correct token should be associated with your character sheet. Okay, so now over here, I'm gonna copy this. I'm going to edit, and I'm going to change. Yes. Okay, now, so the character sheet will reflect the name of the character. And then another thing we're going to need to do for Arcturus is that Marcel and I are going to have to determine a token and image for him. So, Marcel, the way I do that in my games is if you find an image that you like for your character, you can send it to me in Discord, and we can create a token out of it if you don't already have a token tool, and then we'll add it to your character sheet so that every time you pull your character out, the correct token will show up.
Yes, I saw it doesn't look that great right now.
Yeah, it comes up with that, though, that,
Beautiful
head and
thing.
shoulders. Yeah. That sort of ugly little placeholder. So
I'm already scouring the internet.
Oh, yeah. We're going to
All
have
right.
to. I think I've lost the bite and claw thing, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Okay.
You lost the bite and claw thing, and then that's another thing. Since we've been doing work with his new character, let me go back to the races. Oh no, half elves. Half elves. Okay, there's a table somewhere. Okay. Oh, that's right. It's just there it is. Okay, so you don't get any adjustments. Then let me go
Nope, I'm a
and
human.
look. Yeah, and I'm thinking we actually a couple of sessions ago we actually changed Min's race because
I thought so.
the race we had
Tabaxi?
didn't. No, it wasn't a tabaxi. It was something.
It was something we had kind of come up with, and
Well,
it
yeah,
just
you
honestly
had
didn't
found
work
it.
out.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it didn't work out. So we explained it by saying that there was a magic item that the wizard Burn had, and he couldn't figure out, and he was visiting with Min and asked her if she could figure it out, and she noticed something on it, and it basically forced her to start tracing a rune on this item, and the item exploded, and in the aftermath of the explosion, her race had been changed. So
Understandable. Everyday occurrences.
yes, it's like, hey, it's D&D. You can do what you want, as long as everybody's okay with it. So I forget where we put that, but all right. If you find that original document you had, Heather,
Okay.
and look at it and just see if it mentions any racial adjustments that you had made, then we probably just want to back those out. And I don't think that anybody here is so close on minimum things that it's going to affect your class or anything else. If it does, we'll have to talk about it and see. Maybe we'll adjust something else instead. All right. So yeah, what are the rest of you doing while your retainers and followers are getting all set up?
I forgot something.
So Quinn and Min, because you know about this, I'll take you aside, and like Marcel can come with us. Not Marcel, Roderick, or do you like going by your first name?
I'm a first. Arcturus.
Arcturus. Might want to listen in, but I mentioned should we show the Masons the passageway from that one lockable room, so when they're like planning on how to fix things, they don't collapse it by accident. And then maybe give them a quick tour where we want to like seal off that one area down by the Mausoleum.
Yeah, that's fine. It probably wouldn't hurt if they know where that stuff is. I don't know how it might factor in what they do, but
yeah, I have no idea how. I know how smithing works. I don't know how stone works, but I know that it's important to know what's underneath it. So we'll take the time to show the Masons. Give them a guard and walk with them ourselves around and show them that secret passageway. And then the 2 spots we want to seal off down below. The one that goes where that horse is and the one by the Mausoleum where like there's that stable at the end. We want to make sure that we have an ability to like lock that off probably down the road and show them where the Mausoleum is and where the stairs go down to the water and tell them not to go in there because that's where the crayfish is.
Yeah, so there's the 2 entries to get down here. There's this one that comes basically off of that main square tower. And then over by what doubles as a kitchen and pantry, there was this other one that comes down and these storage rooms here. And then there's this secret way of getting down to the lower level from what had been a torture chamber. And the area that they want to block off is this area right here. Because it goes into this whole big warren of tunnels that they have only partially explored, and they don't know. They don't really know what's back there, and at this point, they don't want to know. Some point, they may want to go down there and check it out and discover. Now, do you want to ask them to investigate any of like these mechanisms and the sliding walls and stuff that you had discovered, or do you want to just leave that for later?
We'll mention that we have those around, and if they're interested, we're willing to let them take a look so that they can learn something from it for the friends and family discount for their work. But just down here, the only main things that they need to know about for the 2 places that we need to get blocked off eventually, or at least secured, so that like we can't just be like overrun by random stuff coming out of them, and let them know that this is where the knolls will be. So if just expect that up above, the knolls won't be around except when the sun is high in the sky, and they let you know they're going to come by around noon. But
right.
And they'll make noise down here during that time. But this is where the knolls will be. But if you hear noise down here when it's not noon, then there's a problem.
Yeah, because mainly the supplies that the gnolls have access to are over in these 2 storage rooms.
And we'll show Arcturus the storage room because there's like 3 battle axes in there, a lance, some leather armor, a couple other pole arms. So maybe some shields. So I don't know if he'll like want to grab like a battle axe or like some arrow. I don't know if he uses a crossbow, bolts, or anything. But there's some stuff down here.
Well, I would definitely like to go and look what is there.
Yes. Okay. So what is down there? We have the I love how Gary Gygax does this. Area 19, door. Not room, but door. And then under the thing, it's this is what's behind that door.
In your loot thing under session 11, you wrote 30 shields, 12 suits of leather armor, 70 black suits with the yellow eye, 50 spears, 10 glaives, 6 gizarms, 3 battle axes, a crate with 120 arrows, a crate with 200 crossbow bolts, and some barrels with salted meat and brandy and everything.
Yeah, I think you guys had taken the brandy. Oh, that might be Bob.
Yes, it is.
Hey, Bob.
Awesome. Archimedes is here.
Welcome. Yes.
Now we
Okay.
could just get Talon. Anybody know? He's out.
Yeah. The
My buddy.
halfling seems to be unusually sneaky today, even
My
for the
buddy.
party.
My role-playing buddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
speaking of which, I take Min aside and I let her know I scowled at Lord Byrne and that he owes her an apology. So at some point, when she wants to talk to him, he was told that he was in the wrong.
Oh, you did that?
He was being arrogant about wanting his keep fixed before we do anything about security for all the people in this area. So he's was kind of pretentious. So my grandma would have said he needed to be put in his place.
Oh. Oh, okay. So, well, I appreciate it. I didn't mean to cause problems.
Well, the cat's out of the bag, so we might as well.
Hey, that's not funny.
It's just a figure of speech from the Dwarven minds. But it was his fault, and he knows it, and so he should be properly contrite the next time you all talk.
Well, good. Then he can buy me some new clothes.
Speaking of new stuff, don't forget you had that scroll from last time.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it yet. If I should let him look at it or if I should just keep it to myself.
You got time. You can just hold on to it until you want to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No rush on that. The thing would be as you, and it's presumed that as a magic user, it's presumed that you're aware of spells beyond those that you are currently able to cast, and that maybe you have some notes or some theoretical things on them, and that during your resting time and your meditation time and whatnot, you're occasionally looking at those notes, and that's basically over time how you learn to cast more and more powerful magic. It's just that when you have the mechanical milestone of reaching certain levels, that's when it becomes available to you. But you're
Okay.
constantly working towards that. So you know now that there's this second level and this third level spell on this scroll that you cannot yet decipher, but you kind of can catch glimpses of what it does. And you'll get an understanding of what it does before you're able to cast it. And then when you do, you might at that point make a determination, okay, is this really useful to me? Or maybe does Byrne have something else that's more useful? And he might
Okay.
want one of these, and I could trade one of these for something that he has.
Okay. I can't
So-
remember. Do we utilize do we utilize spell books and stuff?
Yeah, a magic user morphed into a wizard in later editions. So
Okay.
yeah, you wizards have the spell book.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think in this edition, illusionists have a spell book as well.
All right.
But yeah, so, and the spell book can take whatever form you want it to be. It can be like an actual leather-bound heavy book, or it can be a sheaf of scrolls that you have all kinds of scratches and marks on, or it can be any number of other things. It's
Okay.
basically limited by your imagination what
Okay.
Min's spell book would actually look like physically.
Okay. We'll work on it.
Yeah, I tried to convince Byrne to teach you Fireball for free later on, or give you some scrolls of Fireball down the road, so you could give them the Laris
Oh.
compliments.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be worth it. Fling around a few bits of fire here and there. That would be nice. Burn his eyebrows off or something. But thanks for standing up for me. I probably would have given him a piece of my mind, but well, I'm still a little unsteady and trying to get used to looking like this. It's a little odd, but I'll be okay.
Now you probably feel more empathy for that older farm lady that you like pranked because she had to deal with this all the time.
Huh? What farm lady?
The rat.
Yeah, that you did at the bar, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about her.
Sorry, moralistic lessons or something in the cleric's bivouac.
Mm.
Yeah, clerics are philosophizing and moralizing, but now he's got somebody to bounce that off of.
Oh yeah, because I want to be a paladin. I think I'm a paladin, but I don't really. I know I'm not, but now I have a real paladin to learn from. I'm drooling.
Yeah, and
Ferris knows I'm not a normal cleric. I'm a crusader, so I'm as close to a paladin you can get as a cleric.
Understandable, but I myself am a young paladin, not that experienced.
Yeah, we're all kids.
yeah, I guess we'll say that Marcel had some, probably grew up somewhere either to the west in Verbebank or to the east in Greyhawk, and had, in his youth, had somehow met with or taken up with some dwarves and gone to one of their holds and had lived there for a few years, and that's where he got trained.
That's right. You speak Dwarven?
Yes, he speaks Dwarvish.
So I need to explain to you that we're teaching Dwarven to the Knolls.
Understandable. I also speak Knoll.
Oh, good. So when they
That's
start
great.
yabbering, we can have you translate.
And at some point, we also should introduce him to the Knolls because they would be like ecstatic about another holy person of Clangadden.
Yes. In fact, we'll say that it would probably make sense that Nico has set up a time each day, at least once a day, to meet with the Knolls and talk to them, maybe do daily prayers with them or something like that. So he would probably take Arcturus with him when he does that. So if you go out, Nico, to talk to the Knolls, what would you want to do? Okay, great, cool.
We'll just keep it simple. We just have weapons practice every day because that's part of the worship of Clangadden. So he would probably come and we would all like practice weapons and learning different weapons that we don't know. So even though like I'm never going to be proficient in spear, I've like held one before.
Okay.
Well, I can help with that. I am proficient with 200 swords.
Proficient with what?
Swords the size of a man.
Wow.
Which means they're taller than a dwarf.
I could probably swing you as a sword.
Oh. Well, that would be fun to watch.
And probably terrifying for the enemy.
Oh, true. You could swing him around and he can go clang, 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 clang as you hit people with him.
And he can also hit people whilst I'm swinging him around.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's truly a terrifying idea.
Oh God! Now I've become a
2 for
bludgeon.
1.
That's the true worship of Clang. To become a weapon of Clang.
Now I'm starting to become a little worried.
There's this look of scheming on her face, like, that would be interesting. That would be fun.
You're gonna put me on a catapult at some point. I can see you putting me in like some sort of trebuchet.
Yeah.
You need to be on the quickest way to battle.
You really need to go to sleep. Yeah, go to
That's
sleep
true.
here. It's the most comfortable spot. No, right here.
Okay, I don't object necessarily, but it does seem like this is gonna happen.
Let's just say I'm for unconventional methods of attack. Whatever the enemy doesn't see coming is good.
Yeah, and we also talked. I also talked to Marcel about my take on paladins in D&D. I mean, in this edition, paladins are supposed to be, regardless of their deity, they're supposed to be lawful good, goody two shoes, and everything. I have always seen paladins as people who have and are required to follow a moral code, and that moral code is in alignment with their deity. And so, as long as the way Marcel plays Arcturus is true to the values and spirit of the moral code of Clangadden, then, you know, whether that makes him more neutral good or lawful good, I'm fine with that. And it's kind of the same way that we've dealt with Nico. You know, Nico has a very strong understanding of what the teachings of Clangadden are, and he'll sort of read the riot act to the rest of the party if they get kind of off the beaten path.
Like pouring oil over our enemy so they get pledged of their sins.
Yes.
Cleansed of their sins.
Sounds good to me.
Understandable.
All
Fire
right,
is the most pure source of clean.
Okay, I'm going to bring us back to the main level here. And then I am going to bring him onto the sheet here, and then I'll need to set up the values on the token to match what's on here. Now, did we give you hit points yet?
No.
Okay, so the way I do hit points is at first level, you get maximum hit points. So do you have a bonus from your constitution?
I think so. +2, I think.
+2. Okay. And as a paladin, at level 1, you get D10 hit dice, so you get 10 plus 2, that's 12 points for first level. Then at every level thereafter, you get the generous average, which means it's half of the value +1 plus your con bonus. So for level 2, you would get 6 plus 2. So it's 8, yes. So 12 and 8, you would have 20 hit points at second level.
That's a good amount, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, all right, and the maximum is 20 as well. All right, and then we also need to calculate your armor class. So, your equipment that you have chainmail and you are not rocking a shield at the moment.
Nope.
Because you have the two-handed weapon.
Yep.
So we look at your chain mail in terms
What's the dexterity?
I have not enough to make any difference.
Okay.
It is 0 across the board with dexterity.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you put one of your 11s or 12s or something in there, or 13.
Yeah, chainmail by itself is a 5. So you have an armor class of if we go back to the info, your armor class is 5. All right. So that's information I need for your token before I associate it with your character sheet. And that's still too big. Right? Yeah, that's the size everybody else's. So this is Arcturus. And then we go 20 and 20 and 5. And then I typically then I'm going to edit and I'm going to use a selected token. Save. Okay. Wonderful. Now, Arcturus, there you go. Your Paladin presents himself in front of the group.
Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Arcturus Roderick. I've been a Paladin for most of my life. Been adopted by dwarves. As you can see, I have a scar across my left eye. It was given to me by a Gnoll captain when I was working as a mercenary for a time. I am a Paladin of Clangadden, I think.
Yeah, Nico can help you with the proper dwarvish pronunciation.
Give me the dwarvish pronunciation, please. I have no idea how Clangadden is spoken.
You're saying it perfectly. But when you announce that you're a Paladin of Clangadden, you get like a little applause from me with Nico hitting his battle axe against his shield a couple times.
As you may be able to see from the giant sword on my back, I am a two-handed fighter. I am proficient in long combat, though I prefer to be in close quarters with my enemies. And I am a bit more unusual than most paladins you might see. I'm not that... How shall I say this? I am open for ideas. Let's just say that. Well, I'm happy to meet you all. If you would like to introduce yourselves to me, since I've not met most of you. I would, of course, like the dwarf to begin, since he's also a cleric or a paladin of Clangadden, I think.
I'm the first dwarven paladin, but my mentor told me to stop that nonsense and that I'm actually a cleric. I'm a crusader of Clangadden. And you see me, I'm in some plate mail armor with a really nice shield and a battle axe with like a warhammer at my side and a nice oaken club at my other side and my holy symbol hanging from my neck. And you'll notice that there's little etchings of Clangadden symbol all over me. I happen to be a weaponsmith and an armor smith, so I'm always tinkering with my armor to make it look nice and be all like in good condition. And that reminds me, did we ever sell that masterwork broadsword, or do we still have that hanging around?
I don't
You'll
think
have
we
to-
sold it.
Yeah, you'll have to look in the treasure sheet. If we didn't cross it out, I think it's still bumping around.
All right, I'll go check that out. But that was the end of my introduction to myself. And then you see Nico look like inquisitive for a second, like, wait a minute. And then go rooting through some of the gear that we brought out with the wagon.
Nice to hear that there's another smith. I am also an armor smith and a blacksmith in my own quality. To keep my own weapons and armor up to shape. Though definitely not as skilled as a dwarf. Anyone else wanna introduce himself?
So I'm
The masterwork broadsword is not crossed off. So is that something that we would consider that we still have with us?
Yep, we would.
So like, seeing that you use two-handed weapons, I know this isn't a great sword, but I offer you while you're working with us the use of a broadsword and show you how I have a whetstone, so I've kept the blade sharp. It's in a nice sheath, and I've been etching on the hand of the pommel a little symbol of Clangadden, but it's a masterwork broadsword. Which can be used one-handed or two-handed.
I will accept it, of course, though I have no idea how to wield a broadsword efficiently.
The pointy end goes into the enemy.
Well, that would be of course, my friend. But good to know.
And then I point over and like, and these are my valiant companions. And let's go with Archimedes next. I'll point over to Archimedes.
And a little song there, trying to tune up my violin. Oh, welcome. Seem to be the brute of the group.
Just like you seem to be the vulnerable part of the group.
Yes, I will write many, many a songs of your adventure if you let me.
I don't like the pronunciation of the word venture, but I'm still glad to meet you.
No meant.
Still glad to meet you.
And I too have a unfavorably looking face. I've been scarred by some magical spells when I shoot to wear a mask.
I will never judge a man by his face.
Only by his character. Good.
Only by the deeds he has done to Clangadden.
Perfect.
I dearly hope you're of a righteous path.
Oh, but of course.
That's good to hear. I wouldn't have it any other way than to walk with righteous folk.
So I'm Quint. I'm a half-elf ranger. He's wearing studded leather armor. He's got a longbow and a couple of quivers of arrows. And he's also got several daggers. You can see, in easy reach for him, and kind of does the scouting and handles the animals, I guess, for the party.
A valiant scout, something you need in every party.
Right?
Would you tell me something about yourself then? Except your purpose for the party.
I mean, Quint actually grew up, near Verberbank, was trained by another ranger, and, just kind of, met up with this group when he left his master to just kind of go out and learn more about the world and get some experience.
I do hope you are righteous too. And not one of the common, what would you call it?
I'm around to, keep Bjor's balance in check, and make sure that, the earth is taken care of.
1 second. Oh, one of the common poachers.
But I get along well with these folks.
With poachers?
Poachers?
Oh, no, Rain. Quint would take a dim view of poachers, I believe.
Poacher? Oh, yeah. They would upset the balance.
Good to hear that. I also have only fall with, quote, poachers. They bring nothing but danger to the wilds.
Right?
And to every good and righteous folk.
Yep.
Well, I see we have one more companion here. As I turn to the apparently elf girl.
He's kind of like, hi. I'm Min.
Hello, Min. Can I discern anything from her clothing, or does she wear any weapons?
She now is carrying a staff, and she has kind of looks like borrowed clothing. She's not wearing the gray dress anymore. If you were in town recently,
You must be a priest.
No, she's just wearing like a blue dress,
Ragged cloth and a staff.
regular clothes and a staff, and then she doesn't have anything on her head, but she carries like a pouch on her hip that's got like a sling, and looks like it might have sling bullets in it. But she kind of looks at you a little bit from side to side and goes, "Well, I'm the finger waggler of the group."
Yes, as I said, the priest.
No, I'm not a priest. I'm a mage.
So you're a priest then?
But I don't worship anybody.
You don't worship any gods?
What? Not really.
So you want to say to me that you're a heathen?
Well, I kind of did come from really cold climates, and a lot of people would always call my people barbaric.
Well, I see. You might be the first person of the crew I'm not glad to meet.
She's nice.
She kind of sticks her tongue out at him.
She's nice, and she like everyone will eventually learn the wondrous ways of Clangadden.
I'm sure of that. But for now, I cannot discern her true colors, since she doesn't believe in the gods.
Used to be gray and furry, and now I'm. She holds up her hands, really pale.
So you're a witch then?
No, I'm not a witch either.
Shape-changing? Definitely the ability of a god folk.
She just kind of looks at you and goes, "Really? I'm not a witch. I'm not a witch. I'm your wife."
Good reference. You're not
I
even
turn
sure you
away
want to be
from
that
this
anymore.
witch and this heathen.
I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. Well, fine. Then you
Witch are
can
free. Nice.
you can just be a stuck-up snob.
I'm not stuck up.
Yes, you are.
I converse with all manner of folk. Just not the heathen kind.
Well,
I try to look subtle, but I'm not really subtle. And like you see me like act stealthy, but in plate mail, so it doesn't really work well. And you see me like up on my tiptoes, trying to look like I'm like whispering over to Arcturus. I'm like, we don't convert people by being like aggressive like this. Nice, calm. We have to be nice to them to teach them the best ways to worship the one true God of battle.
I'm sorry, but as a paladin, I cannot
As a cleric,
stand folk.
this is my job, converting people. As a paladin,
That's why you should stick to that.
you put the big sword into bad guys.
Like I said, I won't do anything
and
to
not
her.
your friends, not the ones that can help you.
I never harm an innocent person.
These
Well, I'm
people,
innocent.
these people have done wonderful work in fighting evil. Just last week, they killed a bunch of the undead.
Yeah.
Since you are so approving of them, I will believe you. For you are a cleric of Clangadden, so you must speak the truth. So I will take your word for it that she is not as heathen as I first saw her.
Mm. She just kind of like crosses her arms, like,
I'm like, just you'll learn. And I look at Min. I'm like, no rats, please. No, please. And then I walk back and I sit down.
Rats? Why
Rats?
rats?
Just what I remember about a lady at the town. It was a funny joke once, but I don't think it would go over well here.
oh, well, that's fine. It's not like
You
I'm
want
able
to
to
say
really
to me-
catch him now.
You want to say to me that she bewitched a lady downtown?
No.
She
I
played a
played a
prank
joke
on
on
someone. It was
someone.
funny.
With a rat. I snuck a
I'm-
rat into her purse, and because she was being very snooty.
It was funny, and you're like digging yourself into a position where you might like find a
Be
rat.
sure to
in your
watch my
backpack.
back.
So
I'll be
nice.
sure to watch my back around her then.
you can trust everyone in this group with your back.
I will trust you, of course, my friend.
This is awesome. You. All right, if you trust her, all right, but I'll reserve my opinion for later.
I kind of look down at her. I don't care about your opinion, to be quite frank.
She just kind of looks at you and sticks her tongue out at you. Meh,
No reaction from me to that.
meanie.
I'm here to
Anyway.
represent Clangadden, not to help some heathens.
Oh, good lord.
Well, as you guys get sort of towards the end of the day, there will be we'll take our break in a few minutes, and we'll do Nico introducing Arcturus to the Knolls after the break. But before the break, what happens towards the end of the day is that the stonemason, the head stonemason, Elazar, actually comes to you earlier than you expected. And he says, well, we've run some numbers and we actually have some good news for you. Now, there's I understand that Lord Rufus and His Excellency Byrne quoted you all a rate, which the rate they quoted you is actually a rate for all of the skilled people that are working on their project. It's not just stonemasons that are working. There are people that are building furniture for them and people that are creating interior, interior spaces and design and architecture and all of that kind of stuff. You don't require all of that. So what we have determined you will need is you will need one master stonemason, and you will need 3 journeyman stonemasons. And the rate for those is the master stonemason will cost you 2 gold for each week, and the regular stonemasons will cost you 1 gold each for each week. So it's a total of 5 gold every week. And in working out the amount of work here, those stonemasons will require anywhere between 90 and 120 days to complete the work. So what you're looking at is you're going to look at an estimated cost somewhere between 60 and 75 gold pieces. to have the walls repaired here,
Plus the cost of materials
plus the cost of materials
and maybe some unskilled labor.
And some unskilled labor. Yes. What my estimates cover? My estimates cover nothing about any of the interior furnishings. This is just dealing with the walls that we looked at earlier, the spaces down below that you want shored up. Sealing up that area in the mausoleum is going to be, it's going to take us a couple of hours to do that. That's really nothing big. We will probably reinforce that a little bit for you, since especially, we heard some stories that there was some undead bumping around down there. Don't want, if they had come through that warren of tunnels, we don't want them being able to get in again. So we'll
probably need a blacksmith and a carpenter too for everything.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yes, and you'll probably want to have some people that so carpenters to make some furniture and refinish, rehang the doors, blacksmith to do the fittings and the fixtures and all that kind of stuff that you need, and create the nails and other fasteners and everything for the work that will be done. And then, you could probably spend another 100 or 200 gold just on making the place look pretty if you wanted to do that. Or if you want it to be functional and more Spartan, who knows how much that would be. Like I said, we don't know, or we don't really have the expertise to make any kind of estimates on that cost for you.
Is there would the master mason act as the foreperson for the whole project, or is there someone in town we could just hire to be the project manager, foreperson?
No, the master mason could be the foreman of the whole project, because they definitely will have to work along, in conjunction with the blacksmith and the carpenters and the other skilled laborers to make sure that things are done in a proper order.
So could we ask that person then just for what would the overall cost for everything be, with just basic furnishings? So we have cots in the rooms, someone buys at the general store from the town, some blankets and stuff, some kitchen utensils, have the oven and the fireplace fixed, everything combined, an estimated cost.
Certainly. When we report back to Hamlet, we will have Lord Rufus identify the workers. Now, Lord Rufus pulled me aside this morning and told me to tell you, he knows that Burns' feelings are a little bit tender right now. But what's going to happen is that Lord Rufus is going to assign the number of masons needed for your project, and we will round up the other skilled laborers we need from in town, and per your request, we will bring back a full estimate of the entire cost, along with, and he's making notes, along with basic furnishings for the rooms, cots, and those types of things and whatnot. And we will be dedicated to working on that project, and then Lord Rufus will backfill for his project by reaching back out to Verbabank and having more stonemasons sent to Hamlet to work on their project. So
perfect.
That is how that will happen. So I would estimate, we're a little late in the day. We don't want to travel back to Hamlet tonight. We will leave for Hamlet tomorrow with perhaps one guard for escort. The road seemed pretty safe, but we just don't want to be stuck out there all days. We will be back along with the additional stonemason that we need and the other skilled laborers. So it may wind up being everybody may come in one cart, or we might be bringing a couple of carts along with the other skilled folks and their supplies and find game to hunt. And there's probably some wild berries and stuff growing, so we'll have some rations, but we can supplement that with stuff that we hunt in the area.
Before
I'm sure you could also tell the Knolls that you would buy some fresh game off of them.
Oh yes, that would be wonderful. That'd be wonderful if they, for as long as they're here. I believe that Archimedes said. Yeah, I believe Archimedes said something about them eventually going with you all when you went to look into some trouble in the woods, but I don't know whether that's going to be right away or a little bit later.
We need to consult with the people who are here. Like the initial plan was for us to take a wagon with a squad of militia to the other town by the long road, which will take about 3 days each way. But if the group wants to do a reconnaissance to the old temple first, it's up to the group. But right now we have the supplies and a wagon and a draft horse that can take us and like a squad. I think it was like 5 or 7 or something militia. There's a little group that was already designated to go with us, or they could stay here with the Moat House. But that's up to the group.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, either way, there's people, whether it's Knolls or militia, to watch the Moat House while you do reconnaissance in Nulb, and then then we'll see where your plans take you from there. But yeah, so that's good news. It's going to be a matter of months and not years, and I don't see any way, unless we discover some serious issues with the foundation. I don't see any way this is going to even approach 1,000 gold pieces for the repairs and renovations, at least to the outer structure. Now, when they start coming to put roofs on things and other type of stuff, I have no idea what that's going to cost. But a lot of this area looks like it's designed to be open. You have this nice big open courtyard out here that I don't think ever had a roof over it. Looks like it was designed to be a nice open area, and so that's probably going to save you a lot of money on those types of expenses.
Before we leave, may I inquire about the cuttlefish in the dungeon you said?
Fresh.
Yes.
And then she kind of like holds her hands out like pincers.
If we want to get our weapons and get armed up.
It looks like this. It goes chop, 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 chop.
It is a crab then.
So, kind of.
No,
large,
not crab.
similar.
Looks like a miniature lobster.
Miniature lobster.
Well, it looks like an enormous lobster.
You had problems with a miniature lobster?
That's the size of a house.
Oh.
Yeah, the each claw of the lobster is about as big as Nico.
And
if you all want to go back down there, we can show you the room and see whether it comes back up again.
And you said it's trapped in a room with water in it.
There's we'll show you. Like, let's get all of our gear ready, be ready for the fight, just in case it comes out.
For you.
We'll leave the masons here.
I also would like to go to the weapons chamber, which you said there.
So we'll stop by the armory so he can grab a shield, and if he wants like a spear or anything, or any crossbow bolts, and like I don't know if Quint or anybody or Talon needs to re-up their arrows.
If there's a longbow and some arrows, I will take them.
We don't have any extra longbows at the moment, but we do have.
Then
some
I will
arrows.
just take some arrows.
But we can probably find one down the road. But yeah, let's go through the armory, and then are you all okay with going down and just checking out that water room again, just to see if it's come back up?
Yeah, I guess.
I take out the rope. I'll wait until we get down there, but I'm going to tie the
Okay.
rope to myself again.
Before we do that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. So, I have about 4 after the hour. We will go ahead and move ourselves back to the slate. I'm going to bring the music back up, and I will put myself on mute. And players, in the voice channels, we have a couple of voice channels on the server. If you want to talk during the break and stay on this channel is on the stream. If you would prefer to talk off stream, you can hop over to the off stream voice channel and chat there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself and set the timer, and I will be back in. I'm gonna set the timer for about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And I will be back. Take a bio break, grab something to drink, whatever you need to do.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to go check on the baby.
Yep. Okay.
We'll go to the off-stream channel, and I'll be back in about 3 minutes.
Okay.
If someone want to talk with me.
Yay.
Hey.
Welcome back, everybody. All right. Okay, so for the benefit of the viewers and the players, I noticed during the break, looks like OBS has barfed during the session, and the stream stopped and restarted on its own. So that means that the recording we're making of the session will be what we wind up putting up on YouTube. So that should capture everything that happens during the session. I don't know why OBS sometimes just.
Have you looked into it to see if other people are having the same problem?
Yeah, when I talk to people in the other, say that in some of their games they and I know that a few weeks ago when I was trying to watch John stream Action Sturge on Wednesday night, they were having all kinds of problems. They couldn't go like 15 minutes without OBS just crapping out on them. So
Wow.
I don't know whether
Is there anything else out there that can be used in lieu of OBS?
There are several others, but OBS is kind of like the thing that everybody uses. And it could be, I don't know how much of it is actually ISP related, how much of it is internet traffic related, how much of it is issues with OBS itself or interactions with some of the platforms, because of course all of the virtual tabletops, Roll20 and all the others, they occasionally will have little issues where they will hiccup and barf and whatnot. And then Discord has its own set of issues. So there's all these different moving parts that are interconnecting, and it can cause all kinds of issues. So it normally, most of the time, when I'm recording the session, the recording integrity is good, even if the stream has some hiccups or breaks in it. So,
Okay.
all right. Now, a couple of things I wanted to do. I wanted to let everybody know, or I wanted to ask everybody: has anyone partaken or seen any of the D&D celebration that's going on this weekend?
No.
No.
Okay. I just sort of stumbled across it yesterday, and I'm so busy always working on my own games. I don't often see what's happening with the wider D&D community. And Wizards of the Coast is putting on this, I don't know whether it's seasonal or whether it's once a year or whatever, but it's a D&D celebration benefiting, I think it's benefiting Child's Play, the charity organization. It's benefiting some charity, and there's a lot of heavy focus this time around on the new Wild Beyond the Witchlight, that new adventure that they just dropped this past week. But they have a bunch of different panels and a couple of one-shots and things like that. And I saw something today where they were highlighting a piece of software called Sirenscape. And of course, we have in the past used Streambeats for music, and currently through the end of this month, we are using Pipe Dream Hits for our break and pregame music. But Sirenscape is actually a platform that offers ambient music for tabletop RPGs, and so they have a 30-day trial. So I went ahead and signed up for that. And so I think that starting on the 1st of October, we will trial Sirenscape, and I'm going to do a couple of test one mic videos that I will stream on YouTube, and I will run Sirenscape in the background, because their FAQ indicates that using it on YouTube and Twitch should be okay. But of course, the reason I use Streambeats and Pipe Dream Hits is that they are copyright-free music, and they do not get you copyright strikes or get parts of your stream silenced because of copyright infringement.
I have a question about stuff like that. So
Yeah.
So like my husband sometimes does music and stuff, and I've been trying to encourage him to do like kind of some of his own stuff, even if it's just for games or whatever like that, kind of like what Streambeats would be. So if my husband were to create something like that, and he basically said, yes, I am cool with you using my stuff. Here, have some music. Would you still be able to use it as long as it's not anything that's out there as far as anybody else has created?
Yeah, what he would have to do is, because I don't know all of the legal ins and outs and how Twitch determines what it's going, or Twitch and YouTube, how they determine when they're going to block something and when they're not going to. He or any other musician would have to kind of do that research on their own, which I'm sure there's probably thousands of web pages out there and reputable sources out there that can give you that information. And then if there's any kind of forms that have to be filled out or any kind of permissions that have to be done, like there's probably attributions that have to be added and maybe some sort of Creative Commons licensing that has to be done. But whatever the hoops are, we'd have to make sure that the musician does, jumps through the hoops they have to make sure that it's not going to be struck. And then on our end, if we use it on our stream, we would have to jump through the proper hoops we do to make sure that it's not going to get claimed as copyright infringement and get taken down. So that's, yeah. And that's why I like Stream Beats and Pipe Dream Hits. And the way they make their money is they make their money off of the plays from the streaming services. So they are fine with you playing their music, but they want you to play their music through Spotify, through Apple Music, through Amazon Music, whatever, because then every time it gets played through there, they get, some money for their music being played, and that's how they get their revenue. And so they can create this music and put it out there copyright free and still get compensated for it. But if you download that music, put it on your hard drive, create it as a playlist, and then play it, well, it's copyright free, so they can't do anything about it, but they don't get any money for those plays because that's not coming through the streaming service. So, all right. More incidental and administrative stuff. But we had an errand that we needed to run downstairs and take a look at some things. So I'm going to move us back to the other map, and Marcel, this will be a time to verify whether or not I set your token up correctly, and Min, you too.
Okay, where's the beginning? Where should I put myself in?
If you go to your journal over on that right-hand side and grab your character and drag. Okay, yes. If you drag him out on, right here, where I am pinging. Can you see where I'm pinging on the map on Roll20?
Yes, I can see. Yes.
Okay, so
there.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, all right. So then you guys can be over here, and Quint and Nico, what did you wanted Arcturus to have a look at some things down here?
Yeah, I thought we were going to pick on that crab. Give him the
grab a shield if you want a spear. Grab a spear, some arrows for like Quint and Talon. Anybody who uses arrows. Show the Masons where things were. We already did that, I think. So it's just basically letting Arcturus know where some stuff is, and then we'll give him a little tour down to the where the water is, just to see if that crawfish came up or is still around. We don't need to do much there. We can always just leave. It's not like we're going to intentionally try to make things an issue. It's just a quick field trip.
Okay.
All
right.
Let's crap.
That's
yeah.
crap?
Yeah, the giant lobster.
Big lobster.
Correct.
Blah, 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 blah.
Do we have some iron here?
And I remind everyone that the plan is you all stay in the hallway and watch, and I'll walk around for a minute with a rope tied to me and the end of the rope on the grappling hook hooked into the wall or floor somewhere.
Before we go there, do we have some oil lying around here?
Not down here, but I've got a couple flasks of lantern oil, and so do a couple other people.
That is not enough. Sad.
I need to remember to replace my oil because we used a lot of it last time.
Although we do have a couple people who can't see real well in the dark, so we'll pull out a torch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we have light on the situation. And which direction are you guys gonna go? You're gonna take them through the back way where you found the gnolls, or are you gonna go through the torture chamber?
Oh, that sounds exciting.
We can go through the torture chamber and point out how we cleared it out with the help of a more senior cleric of another god of good, and how he hollowed the ground. He hollowed the ground where the Mausoleum is.
Yep. So what they discovered over in this area here is they discovered that there were several cells, and these doors can all be locked. And so if you have any prisoners or anything, you can ever, or people that just get too rowdy at a party and they need to sleep it off, you can throw them in here and let them rest. The previous tenants, the people before you, had converted this room here into a torture room. There were several implements of torture and lots of dried blood. And then inside these cells, they found a bunch of zombies. So apparently they were experimenting on the people they were torturing as well. And they're not very nice people, apparently. They found there's within this pillar, there's a little secret door and a ladder that goes down to a tunnel. And that tunnel comes out in a mausoleum area. And there had been ghouls living down in the mausoleum area, but they destroyed the ghouls, or they destroyed some of the ghouls. There were initially at least 4 ghouls. They only ever found and killed 2. So 2 others apparently somehow left. And whether they left and went out by the back way, by the stables, and never came back because they were chasing the fleeing cultists, or whether they fled into this warren of tunnels and they've never been seen again, they don't really know. So there's a little bit of a mystery about what happened to those other 2 ghouls.
We had found out that there was the cult that was here, so we kind of blocked off one area and let the ghouls go towards the cultists attacking the cultists.
Using the weapons of your enemy against them.
Yes,
exactly.
A very strategic move.
And they did find evidence that some of the ghouls had feasted on some of the cultists. So at least in part, it did seem to work. But this area here definitely needs to be blocked off, because who knows what uses those tunnels and when it will decide to come and pay a visit to this place again. But then coming out of this mausoleum area, going over this way, there's a lot of dried blood on the floor. Some of that is actually put there by the party intentionally, as part of their trap for the ghouls, or part of leading the ghouls around. And then you get to this big chamber here. Now, there's a big pool in this room and a ledge around the pool, and that pool is very deep. And as you stand at the edge of the room and look at the ceiling, there is a circular shaft that goes up, and that shaft connects to the well that is in the courtyard of the Moat House. So, logistically speaking, between the two maps, this is directly underneath that well.
Wait, so you want to say to me that there's this room in the middle has a well at the top of it?
Yes. And then the well draws the water from this pool. And the water here is fine, but they had discovered when they got here a great big giant crayfish down in the bottom of the well here. So it was in fact waiting for them when they came the first time. And as Nico went scuttling around, it eventually did poke up above the surface of the water and started biting him. But then they peppered it with arrows and hacked at it with their weapons, stabbed it with daggers and swords and knives and everything else. And eventually it decided, nope, that dinner is not worthwhile, and it fled. And of course,
but come back.
Yeah, the long-term plan is to eventually build an iron grate a few feet under the surface of the water that is too small for any kind of large creature to come through. And because they did...
Maybe copper, something that won't corrode.
Yeah, they did realize, or they were able to determine that I think they used a Litecoin or something like that, that down at the bottom of this well, about 50 feet down, there is a natural stream. And the water that fills up this well is fed by that natural stream. But they don't know whether this crayfish is too large to go out. Because with creatures like that, they never stop growing until they die. And if it had wound up coming in here as a small crayfish and finding an ample food supply, and it has kept feeding on creatures or people from this well, it might have gotten too big that it can get out. But right now they don't. Am I mixing up two different campaigns? I think
we didn't drop a Litecoin, but we did. We
did surmise that.
Look at it and decide that there's probably an underground.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's right. Because the Ranger has that. Ability. That's right. Okay, never mind. That's what it was. It was another campaign where the Warforged actually sank down into the well of his own. Yes, of his own, and determined where the water was coming from. Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
I was like, that sounds awful familiar.
Yeah, that happened in a game. Was it this game or a different game? All right. So Nico, rope is around your waist, rope is tied.
I don't think we should spend a ton of time here, but if everyone's up for it, we can do something similar to what we did before, just to see whether or not the thing's going to come back in about 5 minutes of looking around.
Okay.
Before you're going there, my friend, I might have a solution for a problem.
What's that?
Well, I've got actually two solutions. The first strategy would be to fill this well with oil. Not very good. And also oil consuming. And then burn it when the crayfish arrives, so that he stands in flames. That would be my first solution, but now that I know that there's a well above this, we could forge, we are blacksmiths after all, we could forge a pretty big kind of stake from steel and drop it on the crayfish when it arrives.
Yeah, that's a good long-term plan. I don't. The
Short-term
oil
plan.
one's a problem because we have to drink the water, so
Yes.
we should avoid that. But yeah, down the road, let's you all want to like wait and see if it comes out, and we can hit it with our swords and axes for a second, or see if it doesn't come out. We just spend 5 minutes here, see if anything happens, and if not, just go back upstairs, say hi to the gnolls, and then go to sleep, and then head out once we've decided if we're going to go do some reconnaissance or if we're going to go to the next town over.
Well,
Okay.
we don't
And
go
while you guys are making that decision, just want to let you know that Dratz has offered advantage to both Nico and Min. So chat room advantage to
Cute.
Nico and Min. Talon has not shown up tonight, so maybe he had to work.
I've got a new hero in the Saints of Clangadden.
Yeah. There's a new hero, and his name is Dratz.
Rat.
All right. So, Nico, you go stomping around in here for a few minutes, and there's no
Throw
sign.
a couple rocks in the middle of the water so they can sink.
Okay. Yep. There's no sign of anything. This thing
All right.
is
We can
either staying away or not too scared to, or not hungry enough to come and attack again.
And it probably hasn't fully healed yet. We did some pretty serious injuries to it last time. So let's head out of here, and we can always keep the huge metal stake. I like that idea, and then we can like skewer it. But we can also put that metal grate over this with some like copper or copper iron composite.
Think
to
about
block
the
it off.
feast we will be having.
Someday. Yeah,
Once
gotta
the
get
giant
us,
feast.
we'll need a supply of butter.
Yes, definitely, and a large silver platter.
So what?
Our creature that big.
We'll have to, serve it nicely. Have like a nice welcoming feast for everybody. So we'll go upstairs, I guess, and like while we're doing all this, I'll be talking to the group. So, like Archimedes, Quinn, Min, what do you all want to do? Do you want to like go from here tomorrow to the long way to the next town, and do some like and find out what's going on there, or do you want to go over to the high road into the more dangerous area and scout around?
Is there a way that we can always like make sure that we've cleared the way so that there's nothing that could sneak up behind us? Does that make sense?
If you mean for like the trip, if we're going to the next town over, we're going to take some militia with us, so we have like a little squad helping us with night watches and everything. And if we're going into the high road to go scout out the temple, we're going to leave the militia here guarding, adding to the guard force that's already assigned to the Moat House, and we'll take the gnolls with us because they're much more adept in the woods.
Oh, okay. I'm not very good with strategy. I'm probably not the best to ask. She kind of
Archimedes,
looks at the new
Quinn,
guy.
Talon, Arcturus. Is there a preference from any of you all what we do?
No, my preference is open.
I should be good at strategy, though I am a paladin. I don't care.
Just take it that the long road is a longer trip, and the
to remind everybody with a visual. So to remind everybody of the visual here, you guys, whoops, to increase the size so that everybody can see. Your village base of operations is here in Hamlet. Your Moat House is here, where it says danger, and you guys already know about the road. Now, the old road that connected Hamlet and Nulp, which is way up here, the old road ran through the gnarly forest. And
Early, dude.
There was an ancient keep that had a chapel in it that was here, somewhere here in the woods. This is the keep that had been taken over decades ago by the Temple of or by the Cult of Elemental Evil, and had been turned into the Temple of Elemental Evil. So that is a road that is in poor repair, not well used, lots of things lurking out there in the forest. The road that is used and is more regularly patrolled and has a lot of caravans on it is what is now known as the Low Road, which goes through the hills and around the edge of the forest and then comes to Nulb here. So that is so you guys have a couple ways of getting to that road. You could either travel back here and then go north, or you could, if you're taking a wagon, that's probably the way you want to go. If you're not taking the wagon, then you could kind of cut across country and get to the road here and then continue on your way north.
What was our objective again for this journey?
It's to go to Nulb, talk to some people that your contacts in Hamlet know there, and find out if they have had any troubles or reports of cult activity happening.
So not to get any resources.
Well, not directly, of course. The party has some treasure that they accumulated from cleaning out the Moat House, but this would be a matter of time and whether they want to spend any money when they get to Nulb or not, or whether they're just trying to get information.
Well, then as a paladin, I would say we should take the high road to make it safe for the normal folk.
That's the low road.
Oh, the paladin is saying, let's go through the woods to Nulb.
I like throwing down the gauntlet and beating up the bad guys on the high road.
Okay.
But I understand the strategic value of going on the low road, and I would support that also because we already did get a wagon and the supplies and everything we need to take the low road option.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
I think it's going to come down to Min, Archimedes, and Quinn and Talon.
I'm good either way.
Yeah, whatever
I
the
know
party's-
that's sad, but I'm just
how many horses do we have?
Just one draft horse to pull the wagon. And if we take the high road, we're probably going to leave the wagon behind.
we're not rich enough for horses.
Actually, we are.
No, we're not. Shh.
I see. The heathen is hiding money.
I'm not hiding money. I put all my money in the bank, just like everybody else.
No, I give my money to the poor people.
Wham. You're lost.
I see.
As a dwarf, it becomes me to teach you starting about savings, because you are allowed to save up to build up a holy force in the future when you need to be able to equip and house and build up your retainers.
Yeah, in second edition, we can talk about how we want to handle things in this game. In second edition rules is written, Paladins are the one class that is really prohibited from building a stronghold and gaining those kinds of followers, because they're always expected to be at the beck and call of some church. So they're expected to be part of an existing order somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they would have that. But if you two as players, if you decide that, you know what, Clangadden really calls his, all of his holy followers to build centers of worship, which include places to train new recruits. And by golly, it might just mean that Nico and Arcturus go in together on creating a stronghold.
That's what I wanted to say to Nico.
Yeah,
sounds good. And I have the option, either the stronghold or to build mobile, mobile army training unit. Something. The Crusaders got some cool rules for that.
That's nice.
Yeah,
we should build it together.
But so if nobody really cares what we do, I think right now it might be most useful for us, because we don't know how soon a threat's coming from the forest. And so it might be good to leave our wagon with the Masons to help speed up the road repair with unskilled labor, and to let them move things around. And once they get a price, and we can leave a deposit, maybe with some gems to cover the initial couple weeks of work. And then we go into take our rations and some torches and the squad of gnolls, and go into the gnarly forest and see what's going on, and then come back with warning for Burn and for Rufus and the town. And if we have time, then we could go off to Null to get more information and warn them as well.
Okay
with the plan, because we should go to the gnarly forest. I don't know if any of the cultists may have escaped and alerted them to your presence at this castle, and that they may come to attack from the gnarly forest. So it's best to intercept them on the way.
Yeah, they know now. It's been a while since we did it, so yeah.
So we should intercept them.
When we do the sunset prayers to Clangadden, and I introduce you to the gnolls, and we get our evening training session in, we can have the gnolls plan to leave at first light with us, and they could be some of our with the work for the ranger, and be some of our scouts. As the loud, I'm not subtle, so when the people who are nearby me,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you're not subtle either, I don't think. When
at least you're small.
We don't draw attention from everything within 5 miles.
It would be good to have some rangers going before us, so we might be alerted to the enemy.
Yeah. So, as sundown nears, and it is close to time that Nico usually meets up with his gnoll allies, you can see them out to the east of the Moat House, over in this grassy area. So you guys can
grassy knoll.
Yeah, it's the grassy knoll. Ha ha ha. You guys can bring your tokens out over here.
How can I move my token?
Oh, I think you have
arrow slots.
Yeah, on that toolbar at the far left.
There. Select move.
Yeah, click.
Yes.
I was having trouble going through the wall, but if I went through the arrow slot, it was easy.
Yeah.
Just jump through the little arrow slot. You're small enough.
Okay. So we have a representative number of the gnolls here, and they see all of you all coming out, and you notice that their little tails wag happily, and their ears perk up as you guys come out. And the leader looks at Nico and Archimedes and says, in in common. He says, "Oh, good to see you, friends. Good to see you again." And there's some yips and barks from some of the other gnolls, but Arcturus, you know that what the others hear as yips and barks, you hear as "Hello, human. Hello, 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 Clangadden warrior."
Hi.
Yeah.
So I would like bang my battle axe to my shield a couple times and give them a welcome from Clangadden, and our brothers in arms. And we have a special
they mimic that. They've started to realize this is a sign of, yes, Clangadden is tuning up the band. He's getting
And there's a special treat tonight. Joining us is the holy warrior of Clangadden, who will lead the training prayers before we talk about our plans for the near future.
As he finishes saying that, I respond in Gnoll. It's glad to see that so many different races are coming together under the Holy Order of Clangadden.
The gnolls all look at each other and their eyes get real wide, and the leader says, "You speak our language. Oh, brother, it is a pleasure to meet you. We are very happy. Nico has been good leader, but now we like someone that can talk to us in our own tongue."
And so the uprising began.
I've been working on Gnoll, but I'm really slow at learning Gnoll since I'm not doing the proficiency.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not here to take the title of leader from Nico. I'm more here to help him lead you on the good ways of Clangadden and to further your weapon proficiency.
And you notice now, Arcturus, something that Nico has seen. You notice that all of these gnolls are wearing a necklace that the necklace appears to be made of, it's like some kind of base metal, maybe steel or iron or something like that. But fastened to this necklace is a piece of bark. And on the piece of bark, they have all inscribed with what must be some kind of either glowing hot metal implement because of the way the wood is charred, or a hot stick or something like that. They have inscribed into it a crude holy symbol of Clangadden, and they're all wearing that around their necks over the top of their tunics.
Okay, out of character, I have to comment. One, you now have the dog people wearing collars, and two, you said it was a piece of bark. For the dogs, there was a piece of bark.
Oh, bark.
I love it. I love it. I just had to say how pleased I am.
Okay, I wasn't even thinking of those as collars, but
The
you're
world
exactly
of
right.
pun.
Yes.
In the world of pun.
Oh, it's
Beautiful.
beautiful. And all of those, all of their holy symbols have. We use a vial of holy water to save blessings of Clangadden on each of their little holy symbols.
Yes. Yeah. So you can tell that this congregation, this band of holy warriors, question mark, has been trained by Nico in the ways of Clangadden, at least in some of the ways of Clangadden.
They're very dogged in their fervor for Clangadden.
Oh
my God.
Okay. All right. Grat, 2 weeks. 2 weeks in the penalty box. Can't give Nico
Roughing the listener, 2 beer penalty.
Yeah. Can't give Nico
I
advantage from
understand
the
and I
chat room for 2
appreciate it,
more
and
weeks.
It totally makes sense, and a pun isn't fully developed until it's full grown.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So the floor is yours, Arcturus, if you have anything you want to say, or otherwise we can just say that you guys go through the prayers and then get straight to the planning.
First, I want to know what your preferred weapons are.
And they all hold up these battle axes. And some of them have their well-used, long-used battle axes. Other ones have newer-looking battle axes that probably replaced some that were so well-used they were falling apart.
Do they look like scarred warriors, younger people, older?
They are a mix. This band is... Most of them are probably middle age for gnolls, so kind of at their peak of their fighting prowess in terms of the age range. There's a few that are younger, but none of them that are adolescent or juveniles, and none of them that are decrepit and aged. And there is only a total of 9 of them. Like I said, I didn't put all the tokens out there, but there's 1 leader and 8 followers, and that's how many they found living down underneath the Moat House.
It strengthens my faith in Clangadden to see so many strong warriors join the ranks of the one true God. And I hope that when we march today, we will attract the favor of Clangadden.
Huzzah! They all shout and raise their weapons over their heads. And then they add kind of a gnoll sort of
I
howl.
also draw my weapon.
Okay.
I hold it to the right.
And Nico, I'm sure, clatters his axe on his shield in approval, or something like that. So all right. So after those prayers, what did you want to tell them about the plans? What did you guys want to tell them about the plans?
We asked the chief to sit with us. We break out some of the dried meat to have a snack. Spread it out to all the different people who worked out to replenish their energy and build up their strength. And then we asked the chief of the gnolls if he would establish a contingent who wants to go with us. We're going to go scout into the gnarly forest, and we're going to leave more militia here guarding the Moat House. And that if he and his brethren wish to join us, or if he has a squad of them that would wish to join us, we would appreciate their company.
Wait, you go into deep woods? You go chasing people that wear yellow eye cloaks?
Yes, we'll bring down the wrath of Clangadden eventually on them. But for now, we go to learn, find out where this prey is, so that we can make plans.
Oh, you go to sneak to their den to find their weaknesses and get ready to find out which of them are ripe for culling from the herd first to weaken their numbers. Yes? You hunt.
Yes, brother, we hunt.
Then, and he turns and he speaks in Gnoll, which Arcturus would understand, and he asks the rest of them, he says, who wants to join our brothers in the faith in hunting the evil ones that wear the yellow-eye cloaks. And unanimously, they all raise their weapons. Huzzah! And they all cheer. And then he turns back and he gives a broad, wicked-looking grin at Nico and Arcturus, and he says, "We will all go, and we will feast on the weak of our enemies. We will sneak and scout and look, and when the word is given, we will attack."
Yes, brother. Do you need? Do you and your band, your pack, need any more arrows or any supplies for this journey?
We will load up on some. We will replace some arrows we have lost in hunting the last few days. We do have some game that we have killed in the last couple of days that we are preserving by our own means. We have smoked some of the meat to keep it so it will be good for rations. The meat that the soft cultists had, tastes too salty, too something not. It tastes fresh but wrong. Don't know if that makes sense, but does not taste like good meat. Tastes like meat that strange flavor added.
You should probably not eat the meat of cultists. Who knows what disease they have? Just look at them.
Oh, you make good point. We maybe have to not eat meat of cultist. Maybe we.
That is.
We will.
I've never thought of that.
With zombies there, they should have some diseases, yes?
Yes, they had evil, not dead things work with cultists. Ugh.
Exactly, and those things are full of diseases. And those cultists were always near them, so they're probably disease-ridden.
Yeah, we might have. I looked at Min and Talon and Arcturus and Archimedes. I'm like, yeah, we might need to dispose of the meat. It's probably not good, even though we thought it was.
We should burn it. Best to burn the disease away.
Out of character, Marcel, in this edition, does the
Paladin cure diseases? Yes, he can.
yes. What level does he get that?
I think level 2. Wait, I need to go check that though. Give me a second. Paladin.
Can be done only once per week for each 5 levels of experience. Okay, so once per week at levels 1 through 5, twice per week. Yes.
Which means I can do it.
Yes.
I was also thinking about doing that to the leader.
I think you can do it once per week. So doesn't that mean like up to level 5 you have 1, and then at level 5?
Yes, exactly. Level 5 I get twice.
Level 6 you get now in this edition you don't get clerical spells until 9th level for the Paladin, but also out of character for Nico. The clerics, do you get like purify food and drink?
I don't, because I don't think I have access to that sphere.
Okay. All right.
It might, if the sphere for that is any, if it's one of the general ones, then yes. But if it's a specific like nature, then no.
Let's take so spell list for the wizard, for the priest. Purify food and drink. Okay, so 5 food. Okay. Yeah, sphere is all. So yes, you do get all of it.
Is the
And
second
that
level?
Level 1.
Level 1, yeah, I
It's
can
level
just
1.
make that one of my spells, and
Okay.
I can cast it tomorrow morning.
yeah, so you could, if you and the Knolls are worried about taking it with you, you could go down to those barrels and just purify it and leave it here and let the soldiers and the stonemasons feed off of it, and then they're not going to get sick from something.
Yeah, I'm
Because
glad
it's
we were
been
about to eat
purified.
this, and the Knolls warned us. So yeah, instead of eating the snack, because like I passed it out, and the Knolls were like, "Don't eat that," so we didn't eat it. We'll put it all back in, and then one of my spell slots I'll mark off right now that I'll have saved up. I'll memorize that for the night, and I'll cast it before we leave in the morning.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's 1 cubic foot of food, 1 cubic foot of food and drink per level. So I'm just gonna say that you can like put and take that ham in like rock salt, and then put more layers of salt on that. And that's kind of what we're talking about with medieval salted meat preserve. It's like, ugh. The last thing you'd want to eat to keep yourself from starving. It's definitely not like cold cuts from your deli.
That's not. Oh.
So, all right. Good. Then anything else for the evening? Okay, I guess not.
I would like to talk to the
Okay,
leader
go.
of the Gnolls
Oh, okay.
one more time.
All right, go ahead before they take off.
Am I talking to him in private or in front of his guys?
Oh, that's up to you. Do you wanna pull him aside and talk to him?
I'll pull him aside.
Okay, yeah, sure. The rest of the Knolls will sort of go off, and then, we'll say that if the other PCs don't need to be around, they can go off too, and we'll just let you guys kind of head off over here and have a conversation. Okay, so you get a little bit away from everybody else.
First, do you have a name?
I think we do have a name. The question is whether the DM remembers where we put that name. So that's all right. So let's take a. You know what? I'm not gonna look for it.
Just make a new name.
I am going to make a new name, and I'm gonna paste it in here. We need 9 null names, and okay.
Remember no.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm gonna put it in. Actually, I don't. Those names look kind of goofy. So let me take a look and see what the D&D null names look like, if they look any less goofy. Ugh. Yeah, okay. All right. So we will say Knolls in the pack from the Moat House. So Arbok. We have Odom, Aralk, Urdak, Eralk, Umdirk, Ilgood, Edneg, and Isnab. And out of these, okay. The leader is Errolk.
Errol.
Okay, so there you go. It's in the Discord.
Yep.
So Errolk is the leader, and there's the rest of them. So you pull Errolk aside and talk to him. He says, "Yes, my name. I am called Errolk."
Errol, you seem like a pretty smart gnoll. Do I have that correct?
Yes. Oh, I was captured by humans, and I learned from my enslavement. I learned to speak their tongue, and when I was able to break free and come back to my pack, they named me leader because I could overhear what our enemies were saying, and I could tell them what they were plotting and planning against us. It helped us to survive when the evil ones wearing the cloaks with the yellow eyes, when they brought the nasty hobgoblins and wanted to replace us. I knew their thoughts, so we could be more useful and more subservient. And we plotted and we waited. And then the great god of Clangadden sent Nico and his friends. And they were the deliverance that helped us to overthrow the cultists and destroy and eat the hearts of the evil hobgoblins. Yes, it was glorious. The battle was wonderful.
Just as I thought. Clangadden helps everybody.
Yes, he is truly a wonderful god.
And as you might have seen, there are some who don't follow Clangadden, and they are quite, how shall I put it, backstabbing.
Yes, they cannot be trusted.
Exactly. Well, today I met a half-elf who I just think might be up to stop Clangadden from achieving his run-through goal. I want you to keep an eye from her for me. Can you do that?
Ooh, the female?
Yes. She seems like she's a witch. I'm not sure, but I have my suspicions about her. And you seem like you're smart and stalky. You seem like you can take an eye on her without her even knowing it. And report back to me
Yes.
if she plans anything.
We will be sure. We have seen her fight alongside Nico, but we will watch her to make sure she does not plan any evil against. Actually, no. She is different. We have not seen her. What happened to the one that walk on four legs, gray and furry?
Apparently she changed into her. Which is why I don't trust her. Who knows if that's even the one you saw before? She could be anyone.
What sorcery? Oh.
Just like I thought. And that's why I need you to report back to me if you see anything suspicious about her.
Yes, when I was pup, I was taught blasphemous talks by elders in tribe of a horrible demon creature, Yignock or something like that. Supposed to be great knoll spirit with 2 heads that can walk as many forms. So none among people trust those who change their shape. Might be servant of Yignock.
Yes.
We know what them.
I've also seen many shape-shifting beasts in the books I have studied, and we need to be sure that she's not one of them. We cannot have one of them in our midst. Be careful to not be seen by her, though. She may suspect something and may attack.
Oh, very good, very good. We will keep eyes on her. I will whisper to Pack to make sure that someone always watching her, that she not try any. How Nico say, funny business.
Exactly.
Not try any funny business.
I see you were the right gnoll to choose for this job.
Yes. Thank you, brother. Thank you for your trust. He reaches out to give you sort of a warrior handshake.
I take his hand and grab it firmly and shake on it.
All right. And then he gives you another salute with his weapon.
I salute him back and wish him a good night.
And
good
he returns your greeting, and then he lopes off into the darkness. And gnolls in this edition, they're like 7 feet tall, so they're pretty tall, and they're not the bulkiest. They're kind of wiry, but man, when he wants to, he can like sprint off and hardly make any noise at all as he's going.
Yeah.
And
I was on the right side.
Yeah, they're very, very stealthy in the woodlands. They can sneak up on people very easily. So, all right. Wonderful. Okay, so now we have some seeds of inter-party drama. I love it. I love it.
Out of character. You see what I did there?
I think it's so funny.
Which?
Which is which?
I put a spell on you.
Yeah.
Now
you
you're
can totally
mine.
detect evil like as at will.
I put a spell on
Can
you.
detect evil.
All right. So, there are gnolls that are beyond the dark vision or the sight of all of the people of the party that are out on the perimeter of the Moat House. The militia who have come from Hamlet, they have already organized themselves into 3 shifts, and one of those shifts very early in the afternoon turned in and got into their bedrolls and into the tents that they had put up in the courtyard, and they have been sleeping. And the others had been going on patrols just around the perimeter of the Moat House, mainly staying on the inside or just walking on the very outside of the walls. But pretty much they've been told, don't stray into the area where the gnolls are, and because it's more because they don't want some militiaman to do something dumb. Then they're worried about the gnolls really doing anything. because of the way that you guys have been interacting with them. So you've got militia to keep watch, so you guys don't have to set up a watch tonight unless you want to.
Yeah, we should just make sure the militia has a good watch set up, and then we can trust them to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, they the commander, if you will, or the sergeant that's in charge of the watch. If you guys talk to him, he will tell you about their plans. They've got 3 shifts that each consist of 4 people. So there's a total of 12 of the militia. And then for the overnight watch rotations, there's one of those that will always stand on active guard near the front gate. And then they will rotate every couple of hours who is standing active guard, while the others just sort of stay awake and alert and listen and watch for any other kinds of signs of trouble. And
how many were going to be assigned to go with us?
Well, since you all are going through the woods, none of them.
Right, but I thought they came with us initially out here, so that we had the 12 guarding the Moat House and the squad that was supposed to go with us. Because I was going to say that they were going to dedicate that squad to travel back and forth, like one squad a day, going back and forth on the road. He
was about to tell you that one contingent of those, so 4, I guess 3 of those people, the total of 12. So 3 of them will go back to Hamlet with the Stonemasons in the morning, and will accompany them, and then they will set up a rotation where every week they will have several of the guards or militiamen leave from the Moat House to go back to Hamlet, and they will be replaced with people from Hamlet to come out here. So it's kind of gradually giving everybody that's part of the militia in Hamlet the experience of being on a mission out here. But then that will be for the course of several weeks, except for the sergeant and his second, who are more or less permanently out here until the rebuilding project is done.
That sounds good.
All right. And we've got about 5 minutes, so this probably makes a pretty good stopping place to go ahead and end our session. We can begin next time with departing. I'm just going to pull it up here on the map and show everybody. With next time we can start with departing from the Moat House here and following the high road into the gnarly forest and heading towards the temple. Now, I do know from messages that I got in Discord during the session, I do know that at least Archimedes went through all of the accumulated experience and has realized that he has risen to level 4. I think somebody else was just on the cusp of going to another level. So somebody else may have leveled from the experience from last week. and then there will be more experience that comes out this week. Now, what I'm going to do in the treasure and experience, I'm going to put a special line item for you, Marcel, just to say what your starting XP should be at the beginning of the session to make sure you're into second level. Or wait a minute. Now, what's the lowest level we have anybody right now? Min is still
Level
second
2.
level. Okay. So, yeah, I'll have him start at second level to match the lowest level of the party. And then every week there is a treasure and experience sheet that's part of your journal that you should be able to look at, and it tracks any experience that was accumulated, any bonus experience or special experience for RP or little things that happen during the session for particular characters. And then if there was any loot or if there was any treasure that was recovered during the session, that's also tracked on there as well.
If this is even remotely reasonable or something you're interested in, Nico just hit level 4. Is that just the very minimum of it? I'm willing to forego my experience for a little bit if it goes over to other players to get them up to level 3 at least, like pretty soon, like a little bit faster.
Well, actually, Joe, the way this particular system is designed, the way they designed the rules, they designed it for asynchronous leveling. So some classes are intended to raise levels faster than other classes.
Yeah, I think the rogue is like the fastest, and then after that, clerics.
Yeah, and that is in part because of the abilities that certain classes get. The classes that do have the potential to get extremely powerful, like the wizard, they do have a penalty on the pace at which they level, because if they leveled at the same rate as a rogue, it would not be too long before you go into an encounter and everybody else just stands around and the wizard just starts pointing their finger and blows
It wouldn't be
everything up.
Dungeons and Dragons. It would be called Wizard Overlords.
Yeah, exactly. So they kind of make the wizard wait and raise more slowly so that everybody else gets a chance to kind of get into their power curve and start to have some of their abilities click by the time that the wizard begins to really come into his or her own.
Okay, I just knew that I got a little bit of bonus experience from using dwarven abilities in the underground, and then I also haven't missed a session, so I think I'm a little bit ahead on the experience curve.
Yeah, I try to toss around bonus experience to each of the players and each of the PCs when there's like little individual scenes or things like that, and that's one reason sometimes where I don't always do the experience right away is I'll wait until I go back and add the chapter markers and things like that, because then I listen through the episode and it reminds me, oh yeah, this character had this really cool thing that they did here. That's worth a few XP.
Yeah, you're being more than fair. I just wanted to offer, but this totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes, as a paladin, I also have the second highest needed XP.
Yes, yeah. So you'll go ahead. Everybody will get XP from this session, and in my other games I do milestone leveling, but that's because in the 5th edition rules system, everybody levels at the same rate. And so it just kind of makes sense to turn level into story-based. Okay, when the party gets to this point in the story, that's when they level. The party gets to this point in the story, that's when they level. So
I have 2,250 right now, XP.
Yes. Yeah, okay, so you've already added that. That's good. You're right at second level. So good. Yeah.
Exactly.
So then all I have to do is put a line item, which I usually do, to tell you how much experience you gained, and then you just add that. The other thing to keep in mind, based on your ability scores, and this is one thing we didn't talk about, you can check in the player's handbook if your ability scores are above certain values in certain...
Above 16, yes, I get 10% more XP.
You get a 10% bonus. So the figure I put in there never includes those 10% bonuses. So you just add another 10% bonus to that.
For me, it is charisma and strength. I have both over 16.
Okay, good. All right. And viewers, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this evening. We hope that you enjoyed our session. Players, hope you had fun here tonight. We are we're getting session 14 now. Unfortunately now, Marcel, being from Germany, you obviously are from the land of proper football, and I follow the local MLS team, so which is the American version of soccer. Of course, we can't follow the same calendar that the rest of the world does. We have to follow a different calendar.
Of course, America.
Yeah, we're America. We got to do everything a little bit differently. But my team has home game or home matches the next 2 Saturday nights. So we will not be playing on the 2nd or the 9th of October. And you know, that may be the last disruption of the season, because a few weeks ago we were sitting second on the table. And of course, another thing we do differently is we have playoffs at the end of the season. It's like when you played all the games of the season, well, if you did really well, that's not the end of your season. Now you have to go into a single elimination tournament and find out who wins the championship. It's not how many points you accumulated and goal differential and all the other yada yada, but now you have to go head to head against the other teams that were good enough. A few weeks ago, we were sitting second on the table, well in the playoffs and qualifying for a home match in the first round of the playoffs, but we've lost 3 matches in a row. And it seems like the team is doing everything they can to fall out of the playoff race and be able to have an early vacation at the end of the season. So now the players may think that's fun, but as fans, we're really annoyed about that. So next time I run a game on Saturday night, I might be feeling better because they might have righted the ship and they might be doing better, or if they keep doing this nonsense, I just may be ready to go kick something, and not necessarily a soccer ball. So yeah, so hopefully we will they will be doing better by the time we talk again. And speaking of time we talk again, on this channel, coming up tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have our Planeswalking 5th edition campaign. It is the Walker of Waterdeep. So viewers, feel free to join us for that if you wish. Same Twitch and YouTube channel for that. Then on Monday night, I always do my one mic show, Monster Monday, and this time I'm going to be doing the Jabberwock, which is a creature that is not new to D&D, but it's new to 5th edition along with the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And it's kind of a very interesting take on the Jabberwock. We will be looking at the history of this monster, the other editions where it has appeared. We will be talking about some of the things that makes it a unique and challenging monster, how as players some tactics you can use if one shows up against you as DMs, ways that you can deploy the monster, and how you can use it in your campaigns. And then also, I always like to look at reskinning the monster and turning it into something completely different, but using the stat blocks as kind of the guts of the monster, and then making tweaks and changes. So sort of riffing on the theme of what the Jabberwock does, but turning it into new and different types of things. So join me on Monday night, 8 p.m. And then Thursday night at 8 p.m., we have our 5th edition Sword Coast Chronicles campaign. And that is currently telling our homebrew story through the lens of the Storm King's Thunder campaign arc. And on Thursday night, by golly, I thought they were going to spend 15 minutes in town and get on with the game, but it turned into 3 hours of the players just all chewing the scenery. So it was 3 hours of improv on Thursday night, which was a lot of fun, but also was making me scramble to figure out, okay, now what are they doing? So it was a fun session. Like I always say at the end of every D&D game, if the players are having fun, we're doing something right. So all right, hope you guys enjoyed it. Everybody take care. I will talk to you all. If you're not in one of my other games, or you don't stop by on one of the streams, I will talk to you all in 3 weeks on the 16th of October. Until then, be safe, take care. And viewers, thanks again for hanging out. And we hope you have a wonderful evening. Good night.